However, I did sit down and rewatch the Borderlands trailer right before enjoying the hell out of Deadpool and Wolverine. And next to me was my lovely wife, and she asked me a very poignant question. Will you review this movie? I had no interest in the Borderlands, and I told her that I don't really care for it, same as I don't really care for the original game. So of course, she bought us a couple of tickets and said, "You have to, it's your job as a reviewer." So we went on a date night and watched Borderlands. So is the movie any good? Let's find out. I'm Meffistoe. Like, share, and subscribe because this is my review of the movie Borderlands. As I mentioned in my intro, I'm not a big fan of the Borderlands series. I barely played the first and second games. I'm just not huge on first-person shooters. However, I always liked the art style of the game, and I did enjoy the collaboration between the Telltale series in the Tales of the Borderlands. So I'm kinda semi-familiar with the settings and some of the characters, but not all of them. Now, why am I blabbing about games? This is of course a movie review, but through the ages, video games and video game stories that were popular enough made it to the silver screen and mostly flopped. It was either due to the poor execution of the story or the poor box office performance, but it was mostly both. This is, in no certain terms, all about the medium. Video games take their time to unravel the story, especially in an RPG game such as Borderlands, where the pieces of information are there for you as a player to find and explore. In a 90-minute movie or even a 2-hour flick, you gotta move forward. Otherwise, you'll lose your audience, your built-in audience. And in that setting, it is very hard to tell a good, well-rounded story that actually makes sense. And where most of these video game adaptation fall is not following the play-by-play numbers of the story in the game and transfer it to a new medium. This is where the Borderlands takes its proverbial shot. The story of the movie is simply a bounty hunter named Lilith is set a task by a huge corporation named Atlas and its CEO to retrieve his daughter that was kidnapped to the world of Pandora. The planet is special for the fact that it contains an ancient vault, and within that vault, a technological treasure left behind by an advanced race. Lilith is dismayed by going to Pandora since she knows the planet and hates it because she originally came from it. Regardless, she goes back there and tries to find Tina, the wayward daughter, to get her back to her father. But on the way, she needs to contend with the Atlas soldiers, a rogue soldier who kidnapped Tina, and her psycho friend Krieg. And along the way, fighting her way and their way through a bunch of other psychos on the planet. First, I'll start with the good things I can say about this movie. It's stylized very much like the game. It captures the insanity of Pandora the planet, just like the game, and its crazy Mad Maxian feel to it. I gotta hand it to the props people and the costume guys because the guns, cars, and the sets look carbon copy from the game, and the costumes, they're spot on. Now that we're done with the good stuff, let's move on to the travesty, which is the rest of this movie. The first crime of it, other than actually being on the big screen rather than a streaming service, is that it is uninteresting and it's boring. The plot is very predictable, and the twist at the end was telegraphed a mile away. Without going into deep spoilers, I mean, it's in the trailer if you've watched it. It's yet another story of the girl who's the key to everything. Where have I heard that one before in the last 5 years? Oh wait, all the time, everywhere, everything, all at once. It has become so predictable and it has become so stale. Same goes for every other character around Lilith. Roland is your typical jarhead soldier, Krieg your typical meathead dumb guy with muscles, Tannis the smart scientist that knows everything, woo-woo, women in STEM, and so on and so on. Apart from the actual story, the acting was absolutely terrible. It seems like no one apart from the actress playing Tina and the guy playing Krieg wanted to be there. I love Cate Blanchett, but she's far too old for this type of role. If you know the original character is 20-ish years old. Kate is 55. And I also hate pointing out physical characteristics in actors, but her facial features were haunting. She fell into the Hollywood trap of all aging, once beautiful actresses that did one too many plastic surgeries. I know it shouldn't bother me, but it did, and it took me out of a possible decent character. Kevin Hart's Roland could have been played by anyone else, and I would feel exactly the same about that character. And the same goes for Jamie Lee Curtis's Tannis. It was uninspiring and just awful. And Jack Black's character, Claptrap, the robot that was just annoying to me, was also annoying to any other character on screen. Although I'll give a pass on the funny poop joke at a certain point in the movie that just made me chuckle. To add to this entire mess, and despite trying hard, the movie felt like there are no stakes. Even in superhero movies that typically have a good ending and everyone knows the good guys will win at the end, there's always a seed of doubt. In this movie, you always feel like you're on a theme park ride on rails and there is no chance you're gonna fall off. There's a teeny tiny moment that was supposed to be a self-sacrifice moment, and you never believe you're actually going to lose a character. It's not really a spoiler, you'll see it when it happens, and you won't believe it either, even if you do go and watch this thing. Another crime against humanity about this film is the CGI. It is horrendous. The movie never feels like it was shot outside, and even if there were any outdoor bits, the environment around the actors looks completely fake. If this was shot on location, it was only brief. And the CGI in the last sequence is remarkably weak. I mean, The Matrix Reloaded levels of weak. And one last thing before I go, and this is a criticism about the person who put together the trailer or the company. You gave up so much in order to capture a specific image that you really screwed over a decent surprise. I'm completely shocked that a certain thing from a key moment made it to this trailer, and it's no wonder that I try and stay clear of these trailers for movies that I actually want to go and see. To sum up, if you're a fan of the game, skip this movie altogether. It's just not good at all, and this is saying it mildly. If I was a fan, I would much rather fire up Tales of the Borderlands and play it and enjoy a much better story. I really didn't expect much of this movie, and I got even less. Plus, my date was even more annoyed after this. Serves her right for buying those tickets. I thank you for watching, and remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. I'll see you on the next video.